Yo, 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 shalom, y'all, shalom. Live stream today. I'm going to some current events, some things that's going on around the world. You know how we do. You know how we do when we touch on this, man. We got the articles up. We got we're gonna filter this through the scriptures, filter it through, future prophecies to come, certain things, certain gradual things that are coming. The title of this live stream goes into, the domino effect. But before we do that, want to start out by giving all the praise, the glory, and the honor unto Yahweh Ba'Hashim Yahweh Shah Ba'Hashim Kakwadash. And our Lord will, this live stream is edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel, the nation of Israel only. And it's called the domino effect because we got to understand how this world operates, man. It's all narrative driven. This world, as a lot of you brothers already know, this world is one big stage. It's one big stage, one big Broadway production, one big Hollywood movie, and it runs on narratives, you know. And whatever the current narrative is, and all the narratives they divvy up, all the narratives they bring to light via the bring to the masses attention and whatnot, all the narratives they spring to the light, you know, have an effect onto them. You know what I'm saying? So each narrative is brought up to ensue a different narrative, on top of that narrative. That's how it all works, man. That's why I call this the domino effect. One narrative to bring forth the next narrative to bring forth the next narrative, you know, and those narratives may come in individual sects, man. So you'll see a narrative spring up in Chicago, then a narrative in DC, then a narrative in Boston, the narrative in Atlanta, a narrative in New York City, all for the greater good or for the quote unquote good, with how they see it, the greater good, the great work, you know what I'm saying? Of bringing forth that new world order and implementing that into the world, man. You know, out with the old, in with the new. As we always go into, man. You know, so everything operates. This is happening because they want this to happen, and this happens because they want this to happen. That's how it all works, man. Nothing happens individually. No narrative is brought out just as a single narrative, and that's it, and it goes to the wayside. Even if the narrative dims down a little bit, it's still that narrative is still looming in the background. They just push it to the side for the minute to bring forth the even bigger narrative they want to push, and then they're gonna tie them two narratives together to bring forth the even bigger narrative. That's the domino effect, man. That's how they run this thing, you know. So let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all know how we do. Let me sip on this tea. Sip on this tea. It's dandelion tea. Some of y'all brothers who don't know, dandelion tea is actually really good for digestion. If any of you brothers struggle with digesting certain foods or just digestion in general, when you eat, um, even when you eat lots of fiber, you sometimes still struggle with some digestion issues. It's always good to drink some dandelion tea or just a hot beverage in general, like some hot water, some hot tea. I like coffee as well. That as a natural diuretic, coffee is. But I know everybody's not really into coffee like that. But just hot beverages in general help you a lot with your digestion and make sure everything's functioning, cleans you out, make sure everything's running functionally. Especially a dandelion root, it has a lot of properties in it. A lot of it's a lot of herbal properties in this that help you deal with water retention as well, so you're not as bloated. So this is a very good tea for you brothers to drink. Not even if you just struggle with digestion, but just in general, very good for your digestive system. This dandelion tea is. But matter of fact, let's go to bring up the precept, man. Let's go to Sirach, the 38th chapter. Sirach 38. Sirach 38 and 4. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, He that is wise will not abhor him. Now, I know that's not what this is going into, but since I mentioned the topic of the dandelion root, what I'm sipping on right now, we got to remember the Lord made these medicines out the earth for our benefit, man. So invest into that. You don't always got to go get some damn pill or go to run and get some damn fiber from the goddamn Kroger, man. You know, you can go right to your local store or your farmer's market, wherever you get your food from, and get some herbs, man. You know, get some tea, or if you want it in pill form, you can do that as well. In capsule form, I mean, you can do that as well. But do that, man, and you know, and let it time to work. You know, it's gonna take a few times, it takes a few days for it to seep into your system and whatnot. But once it does, man, these herbs help you run it more efficiently and more smoothly, and give your body a break from the toxicity that we ingest in our everyday life, whether that be through our diet, even if we do eat a clean diet. The toxicity that we digest in our diets, because everything is tainted in this society. The BPA lining in certain things. And do some you got you brothers do some research on BPA lining. Very very toxic to your body. But they put it in damn near everything. You know, certain foods that we ingest. For you brothers that eat fast food, I eat fast food occasionally as well. You know, that very very toxic. A lot of you know tumultuous ingredients that are in those things. They even ban in other countries. You know what I'm saying? That they put in the food for us to digest. Here, a lot of the lining and a lot of the sprays and the pesticides they spray on the certain meats and the fruits and vegetables that we get at the grocery store, as well as a lot of toxic particles that our bodies are ingesting. And just when we walk outside, the air that we breathe, very poisonous and toxic as well. Um, you know, so it's very good to invest in these herbs. You know what I'm saying? Get on it. You know, help alleviate your body from the toxicity that we ingest constantly in this world. But anyway, let's get into the articles. Let's break this down. Actually, before we get started with that, I want to bring out a precept. Let's go to the book of Habakkuk, because this is what this is going. This live stream is going to be centered around. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 2. Actually, I'm starting at verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. You know, so I wanted to tap into this precept first before I start this live stream, because let's really analyze that second and that third verse. It says, "And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, he may run that readeth it." In verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. So what is the vision that's yet for an appointed time? These prophecies ensuing, man. These prophecies coming out, these prophecies coming to fruition. That's what that's that vision that's set for that time with the Most High, that appointed time. The Most High wants it to come out. That the Most High wants it to be plain upon tables to read. The Most High wants it to be easily digestible. You know, for brothers to and the sisters out there that are meant to be able to understand and grasp this knowledge, man. The ones that the Most High has not shut our eyes, and He's allowed us to be able to see. But at the end, it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry. So, you know, because within the realm of prophecy, you know, you of course you have this world that acts as, you know, the placeholder on the earth for prophecy to ensue. Let's go to Ecclesiastes real quick. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. So the earth abideth forever, man. You know, generations comes and goes. And in a generation, you have certain the earth is basically like the setting place, you know what I'm saying, for the rise and falls of kingdoms and dominions, for the showings of prophecies. You know, the earth is that place the Most High has set you know, like a placeholder, you know, to allow like it's like a stadium where a lot of games are being played. And these games are these narratives, man. Earth is like that big stadium where the games are being played. You know, you go to a stadium, you watch, you watch the team. You know, you watch what they do. You watch them score, them play defense. That's what the prophecies are like. The team scoring and playing defense. You know, certain things happen, certain things die down. Certain things happen, certain things die down. But within those things happening, it's all in this society. It's all narrative driven, right? So certain narratives they push out in the open, and then they push those narratives to the side for another narrative, you know, and they push that to a side for another narrative, and then they bring all those narratives together for the ultimate score. It's like on a team, you may have one guy that gets 20, one guy that gets 15, one guy that gets 25, but at the end of the day, the final score is going to be the culmination of all those guys' scores and the points they got put together. You know, that's how prophecy is. You know, because like I said, prophecy, you know, the Most High uses the people of this earth, the ruling elite of this earth, to play out certain things, you know, in the open, man. You know, to show us that prophecy is is speaking, and He's written the words out before us for us to be able to digest and to be able to speak it. You know, so we can read it, understand it, and then go speak it to our people. But He uses the ruling elite of Edom to play out these prophecies. You know, so they play out the narrative. They're like the players on the team. The Most High, they're just puppets, man. The Most High's just using them to play out the prophecy. But how they play it out is through narratives. Like in basketball, one guy he may be a dunk specialist. You know, he may be a lob specialist. We just gets 20 off lobs each night. Another guy may be a 3-point specialist. He gets 30 off 3 pointers. Another guy may be a mid range guy. He's real shifty, real quick in the mid range, able to get his own shot. You know, that's like the ruling elite. You know, how they get their shot is how they spring their narratives. You know, but it all works together for the score. It all works together to usher in the new world. And ultimately, what that is at its highest level is the bringing forth of prophecy. That's how this goes, man. So when it says, "But the end shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it." You know, that's though it on the prophecies tarrying, that's the narratives dwindling down. That's the narratives being pushed to the side for an even bigger narrative. Then that narrative is pushed to the side for an even bigger narrative. And then it all comes together and it says, wait for it. That's it all coming together because at the end it will surely come and it will not tarry. That's that prophecy coming speaking profoundly at the very end of this thing when they bring forth all the narratives together, push all the narratives together to bring forth the ultimate goal. You know, and in the midst of that, they've been working on the minds of the people. So you're already indoctrinated for when that goal, they ultimately want to bring that final goal to the masses. You see what I'm saying? So that's the domino effect right there. One narrative after another narrative after another narrative. You know? Let's also get this real quick before we go into these articles. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse let's go to verse number. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10 and verse number 1. Woe is unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. So the word decree says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. So there has to be a certain people in the world who is at the behest of decreeing the decrees. Decrees don't just get declared just out of nowhere, just out of poof. Well, I mean, the Most High can do that. He's capable of anything, but He uses people in the world. You know what I'm saying? To decree those decrees, man. Because ultimately, every decree is His. At the end of the day, it's all His. Because the Most High sets these people up over the people of the earth. You know, but in how the masses look at it, it's the decree of a man. How most people look at it is decree of a man. You know, So it's woe to that decree unrighteous decrees. So what is another word for decree? Another word for a decree is a mandate. You look that word decree up in the online etymology. Another word for it is a mandate. So what do we see ensuing in the world right now? Mandates, you know? But what do these mandates work for? And what institutes a mandate? A narrative. A narrative institutes the mandate. So when they tell you that certain things are going on, certain things are escalating, certain things that they've said are dangerous, and they've said your life is in danger, and things of that nature. When they spike those up, when they say it's happening at a rapid rate, that's a narrative to bring forth that decree or that mandate. That's how this works, man. So let's go ahead and get into these articles. So we got the domino effect with the mandates. The mandate for the poke, for the serum. It's one city after another city after another city, especially these liberal cities. You know what I'm saying? So we're just gonna go through the list of some of these cities. We're gonna break down what they say. So we got Chicago. It says Chicago to require um, serum proof for indoor spaces like restaurants, bars, and gyms. And you notice it's a similar theme with each city because they all work. They are like I've said in this live stream, you know it's all narrative driven. So you're gonna notice that it's all a similar thing. They all say restaurants, bars, gyms, venues of entertainment. Why is that? Because none of these people operate, solely. It's they all these people, these mayors, these governors, these senators, these presidents, they all work, they're all pawns for the global elite. So the global elite gives them the instructions and tells them, all right, in your city at this particular time, we're gonna require the thing, for access to this, and this. And notice it's the same this, and this for each city. Because they don't work autonomously, man. They don't work solely, man. They work in unison to bring forth the big the at the new world order, man. Going back to Habakkuk 2 and 3, at the end it shall speak. So the ending of it speaking is that all the prophecies coming together, you know, everything being shown fervently out in the open, you know. And on the right hand path, you're gonna have the brothers, the sisters who are sealed, who have understanding, wisdom, and knowledge. And Most High's gonna protect. But then on the left hand, that's gonna be seen in the capacity of the new world order, the new societies, the new world, things of that nature, man. That's why they're all saying the same thing. They all work together to bring the new world into effect. But continuing on, it says Chicago will soon require proof of thing for indoor public spaces like restaurants, bars, and gyms in the new year. And the city's mayor announced Tuesday joining other big cities like New York and Los Angeles in adding the requirement as the V cases surge. Beginning January 3rd, anyone age 5 or older will be required to show proof of full V to dine inside or visit gyms or entertainment venues where food and drinks are served. So now they're saying that you have to show full proof of the V. And we know that according to like I did other live streams on it on my main channel, and also just I can't live stream on my main channel anymore for the foreseeable future. They banned me from live streaming. It is what it is. You know how these devils operate. So for the foreseeable future, I can no longer live stream on my main channel. But I did a live stream on my main channel going into the ever changing definition of being fully poked, man. So now they're saying you got to get a full poke, and now and soon those full pokes worldwide or nationwide are going to include um the first and the second doses of the Boost Mobile, man. So it's not enough that you got poked in 2020. It's not enough that you got the Pfizer, the Moderna. That's not enough, man. You know, that's not enough that you were quote unquote fully poked. And that fully poked definition is going to change as the narratives change. That's it's like I said earlier, it's all about narratives, man. As the narrative shifts, the definition of poke will shift because they can construct the narrative however they see fit. They can say, "Oh, there's a new form, the damn Megatron form." You know what I'm saying? The damn the gamma variant or whatever. You know, and it's 4 or 5, it's 100 times more deadly. You know, all that bullshit, man. You can say whatever they want to say to construct their narrative. You know, to bring into effect whatever stipulations they want to put on the people. So so now they not right now. It's I believe you have to get 2 doses of the poke. Then you had to so my fault. Let me turn this on silent. You had to get 2 doses of the poke. You know, then then you had to get a Boost Mobile, and now they got another Boost Mobile out, man. You know, so soon that definition of being fully poked will include all of that. And if you don't align with all, if you don't have all of that, even if you don't got poked before, you still can't enter these venues, man. Turning you into a damn fried potato. Then some damn French fries, man. Right now in Austria, they already got the 4th Boost Mobile out. And they're telling people they got to get to be fully poked, man. It's going on in Austria right now. You know? So however the narrative shifts, then the stipulation of the people shift. But continuing on. So the city and the policy is in response. The city said the policy is in response to alarming rise of V19 cases, both locally and nationally, driven in part by the OV. Despite our diligent and equitable V distribution efforts throughout this year, unfortunately, our city continues to see a surge of V19 Delta and O cases, Mayor Lori Lightfoot said in a statement. Now steps must be taken to protect the health and well-being of our residents. The public health order requiring proof of V to visit certain indoor places, public places, is a necessary measure to ensure we can continue to enjoy our city's many many amenities as we enter the new year. So, and I want to touch on another point with what this so-called mayor, Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, said as well. When you watched her interview that she did when she announced that the poke mandates, she said that right now it's going to be a requirement at certain bars, um, um, entertainment venues, gyms, public places, basically public places with a large amount of people, except restaurants, bars, and gyms. But she also said, if you listen closely, she also said in that interview, as of now, which is roughly paraphrasing her words, as of now, that's all we'll be requiring it. Well, she said, as of now, that's the only places in which we'll be requiring it. So basically, she's like, we won't be mandating it at any of the venues yet. So what is that telling you? That's telling you right there that when they want to either push another narrative that's even more deadly, or they want to spike up this narrative even more, then they have the right to be in now they're saying that they have the right and the justification based off the current event that's going on, aka the current narrative. They have the justification to mandate it at other venues as well, steaming into venues of necessity. Grocery stores. Because they really want to attack you in order to get people to either lash out, which they eventually want, mass lash out to the people, mass rioting of the people. They eventually want that. I don't know how soon, but they eventually want that. But also on another end, to get people to capitulate their belief in not getting the poke for whatever reason they have, they got to attack you in two ways. They got to attack your money and they got to attack your food. They're attacking people's money right now by attacking their jobs. Now they haven't gone after they haven't collapsed the American dollar yet and the whole economic system yet, but that's coming. It could come in 2022. Who knows? They haven't done that yet, but they're accelerating certain forms, to usher that in. They're accelerating certain things to usher that in. Right now, what are they doing? They most places you go to, you can't even use cash, man. I was out at Chipotle the other day, you know, and they said on the sign we are now fully digital, you know. So that's just a way to that's just a way that they are beginning to usher in the CBDC, and the CBDC won't come in fully until the collapse of the American dollar, because there has to be a reason for the minds of the people to go into that because of the things they're going to bring along with the CBDC. It's not going to just be, oh, everything's digital now, whoopee hooray, let's go on with our lives. Nah, it's going to be everything is digital now. Now these are the digital things you got to put you have to ingratiate yourself with to operate in the new digital world. Where that come and the main thing that's going to come from is or the main form is going to come in is the charagma, ultimately. You know, so but there has to be narratives and narratives to usher that in, and narratives are going to usher that in. But rounding it back out to the point I was making, she was saying in that interview, right now, this is the only places we have it mandated at. Meaning what? Later, like I said, later on, when they usher in new narratives, when they push new narratives, they're gonna bring forth new mandates. At different places that are really gonna affect the people. Because right now, people are, okay, well, fuck it, I'll just eat at home. Fuck it, I won't. I mean, I don't. People be like, I don't go to bars anyway. I don't go to entertainment venues anyway. Man, fuck it. I still ain't getting that shit. But once they attack your food, your source of getting food by mandating at supermarkets, health stores, grocery stores in general. Also, notice how they've mixed in. I mean, most every grocery store you go to, that's where people get their home goods needs as well. Your toilet paper, your paper towels, your washcloths, your soap. That's what most people, your toothpaste, essential things for survival. They've already linked that in with the grocery stores. And what do they have? What do both of those have in common? A lot of people at one particular period of time. All throughout the day, there's a lot of people in those places. So they can easily say, all right, this is getting out of hand. The O was going crazy, so we need to mandate at these places as well. They can easily construct a new narrative to push that sentiment and to mandate it and to bring that on the people easily. But it's all about that domino effect, that gradual domino effect, one thing after another after another. They're not just gonna go for the gusto. They're gonna institute certain things. Certain steps. All of the domino row. Like when you playing like when you lining up some dominoes or whatnot. You got one lined up, then the next one lined, then you got them all lined up in a row. You tap one, all of them fall. That's the same thing with these world events. You tap one, they all fall, but they're all set up sequentially, domino at piece after domino piece after domino piece, because they all work in unison for the one goal. When you set all those up, and you see when you set up all the dominoes, you know they're all set up in sequential fashion, so that if you tap one, all of them go down. Meaning what? They all work for the greater purpose of tapping them all down. Every domino has a purpose for being there. It's the same thing with this world. Every event has a purpose. Every narrative has a purpose. You know. So when they say certain things, no, it's leading to. It's not just going to stop there. It's leading to down the road. Um, I want to get this article, this point right here as well. It says this new requirement will not eliminate V risk, but it will help ensure a much safer indoor environment for fully V Chicagoans as well as the employees working in these higher risk settings. As we head further into the winter months, we must take this step now. Chicago Department of Chicago Department of Public Health Commissioner Dr. Allison Arwoody said in a statement, "With O, I do not, I do with O, I do expect to see many more see reinfections and breakthrough cases, but luckily the V continue to protect very well against severe illnesses, hospitalization, and death, and even more so when people have also said had a Boost Mobile, you know. So the see that's the thing. That's how the devil works. They speak kindly. You know what I'm saying? More they speak in a more they speak in a softer tone. But but really what they're saying is that there's the narrative or the phrase that's being said is said with a softer undertone. Oh, we're just worried about the health and safety of the fellow people of Chicago. We want everyone to get get a single dose. If you at least have a single dose, that's good. We really want you to get the other dose, but just a single dose is good for now. At least you're taking a step in protecting your fellow citizens of Chicago. That's what it sounds like when you read it. You know what I'm saying? Because they've cast themselves in a position of purity, man, amongst especially liberals. You know what I'm saying? View these people with high importance. We know what people talk. We know how to the scriptures speak about people's mindsets towards the rich man. Let's go to Sirach 13. This is Sirach 13 and 22. When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. The poor man slip, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely and could have no place. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. And look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they 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 will help to overthrow him. So when a rich man speak, people, they let me see what he's got to say. They believe in every word, very persuasive, very charismatic, sounding very concerned. That's how they draft these articles, man. They draft, and that's how the newscasters say these certain things as well. They say it with a very usually they'll have a softer tone colored shirt on as well to emit those soft emotion or feelings of emotion um and care amongst the masses when they speak, but also they'll say things in a softer tone. They oftentimes get a woman to say these things as well, so it makes it seem like it's said out of love and care and certain things like that. But really, it's said with a sword in their mouth, man. Because when you actually read these articles, you gotta read it as if the devil is speaking to you. That's how you gotta read it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta read it as if the deceiver, the most wicked person in the world, is speaking to you, because that's who is speaking to you, man. Because this system is the one that's producing these things. This wicked beast system is the one that producing these articles, producing and drafting these narratives, man. So when you read these articles, that's how you got to read it. So when we see right here, it says, with O, I do expect to see many more C reinfections and breakthrough cases, but luckily the V continue to protect very, very well against severe illnesses, hospitalization, and death, and even more so when people have also had a Boost Mobile. So they're saying it's helping a lot. It's gonna help even more when people get a Boost Mobile. But how you gotta read this though? You gotta read it as like you know with the mandation, with the mandatory implementation of the V, that's going to get more people. That's going to get more people to compromise and to be V'd up. And then when we implement when we change the definitions on you, when we flip on you the definition of being fully V, that's gonna get more people to take the boost mobiles, man. And then you could say, which is gonna help decrease the disease rates, hospitalizations, and deaths. You know, but you can't read it as, oh, get it if you want to. You got to read it as, you get it, or at some point get it now, but at some point in time we're gonna mandate it anyway. So either get it or be ostracized from whatever um we restricted you from. That's how you got to read it. But I wanted to get another precept as well. In Sirach. Let me see. I can't find this particular one that I wanted, but as Lord's will come up. But anyway, let's get back into the article. And these are the requirements: indoor dining, indoor fitness. Um, y'all know what that is. Entertainment venues. So they're cutting off all access to things that bring people comfort, man. Things that assist your living. You know, because we still gotta live. You know what I'm saying? We're not just, we're not just, robots. Go to work, go home, go to fucking sleep. You know what I'm saying? That's not a way. That's not how you live life. You know what I'm saying? You have certain things that you enjoy to do and whatnot that assists your experience while on this earth. You know what I'm saying? Of course, us in this truth, we know what we know what matters at the very most is serving the Lord, keeping these laws, such commandments, and having faith. But we still have lives to live. And see, the thing about it is, when you become a robot, when you become pretty much just a slave, for lack of better words, a slave to the system, and you don't allow um your mind opportunities to seek things that bring you peace, that's when you get into more compromising mindset because you're so laser focused on what it is you got to do. So you're so in a routine of, I got to do this, and this, which routines are important. But what I'm trying to say is that you get so drawn to your certain job and your everyday life, stuff that you got to do, your task, your responsibilities. You know, when things spring up on you, just like, all right, fuck it, whatever I need to do to be able to continue to do handling my responsibilities. That's gonna get a lot of people poked up. And a lot of people eventually corrogment up at the end of the day by restricting people of doing the things that they love to do, doing the things that bring them enjoyment, making someone a mind controlled robot. For someone that just is a doer of actions but doesn't actually live life. That increases that increases their spirit to compromise. And then it goes into what's not in this mandate. So yeah, man. Now we see Chicago. We also got DC. Says DC mayor announces um thing mandate for restaurants, bars starting in January. Says patrons will be required to have had at least one dose by January 15th. Because not Major, Mayor Muriel Bowser announced Wednesday that certain establishments, including restaurants, bars, nightclubs, gyms, events, and meeting spaces, like I said earlier, see the same theme with each city. Like I said, it's because they don't operate individually as people like to think in this world. It's not a democracy per se. You know, every state, every governor, every mayor is a pawn. You know what I'm saying? Is a plant per se. You know, they're all just puppets on the chessboard, pawns on the chessboard, moving the pieces and doing the bidding of the global elite. That's all they do, man. That's why it's the same theme in each city. Each city that it's mandated in currently. I want to get this quote from this mayor Bowser in Washington or Washington D.C. She said, "If you are a resident that is not yet poked and you want to continue enjoying these activities, now is the time to get poked." That's what it's all about, right there, man. It's not they tell you without telling you. It's not about um, it's not about um getting you to get the public health and safety. It's not about looking out for the fellow citizens of DC. It's not about let's lower the infection rate amongst the great people of Washington D.C. These hardworking individuals and citizens of Washington D.C. All that narrative bullshit, man. It's just about getting you indoctrinated. That's what the poke represents. The poke represents indoctrination. The poke represents compromise to the beast system. You know, the poke represents compromising to the tenets of the beast, accepting the implementation of the beast system. That's what the poke represents because of the things that are associated with it. Because what's associated with the poke? The shutdown, the shutdown of cities, the shutdown of countries, which is one of the things that can cause that will cause a big business and financial collapse. You know, the things that are associated with the poke in terms of certifying it, certifying that you've got it, and also um, from a health perspective, excuse me, the narrative that the poke, which they've kind of caused that narrative to die down some, but it's going to spring back up sooner or later. Don't get it twisted. The narrative that once you get the charagma in your system as well, it'll work in conjunction with your poke to be able to let you know whether you got symptoms and certain things like that. Based off your body temperature and your internal temperature and your body heat and certain things like that. Be able to track who you've gotten in contact with to see if they got poked as well to see if you extra protected. All that bullshit, man. That's what it's all about. It's about what it represents. And ultimately as well being able to track the citizens, man. Because that's the thing about the charagma. It's not just about getting the charagma into people. What's more important than that is being able to track the people who have it and separate those who have it from those who don't. That's what's more important with the charagma, man. You know, that's what's more important. More important than the implementation is the tracking of the implementation. So she said, you got to get poked. You want to engage in these activities. Like I said, they tell you what it is, you know, before it ultimately ensues. I mean, they tell you, and they tell you through sly words, through cunning words, the conversation that they have behind closed doors, man. Let's go to Sirach. Sirach chapter 12 and verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagines how to throw thee into a pit. That's what this mayor is. That's what this mayor is saying. Because this sounds good to people who are pro poke. Because now they'll say, "Oh, see, now you people that don't want to get it, now you got to get it, or you can't do the things you want to do," which is going to create a more comfortable and protective environment for me when I go do certain things, man. Because you won't have people out there that don't have the defense against the sickness. That's what they thinking, you know. So it sounds sweet to people. It sounds tasty to people. But behind closed doors, but the language within the language is them throwing you into a pit, man. Them getting you more indoctrinated, them getting you more accepting, and then ultimately getting you lined up with the beast, man. Spiritually, mentally, and physically, because they all work in conjunction. I also want to get one more point from this article as well. It says approved proof of V includes V cards or photos of V cards, immunization records, or verification apps like Clear and VS. Now notice, notice. See, that's the thing about these mandates is when you bring these mandates into effect at these different places, then you also by proxy you bring in verification of your V, because of course to be able to verify your V, I mean to be able to effectively run a mandate, people have to verify that they got the said things you mandated. So they got to show proof of it. So you got to show immunization cards, V cards, photos of it on your phone, or be logged into certain apps that verify your V status. You know, but also that's another way where the C comes into effect. The C Rogma comes into effect, which we're gonna touch on that a little bit later. That's where that comes into effect as well. Because what if you lose something, or what if people are jipping the system, or what if whatever narrative they bring forth. That's the thing. It's just a narrative thing. Whatever narrative they spring forth to basically justify in the minds of the people that this is a better option than holding a card around. Whether things have gotten so bad with things are transmissible through cards. You don't want no one touching this, and certain things like that. Or as well, just tying it into the CBDC economic system. Basically, when you get rid of everything, you get rid of paper money, might as well get rid of everything paper. You know, turn everything fully digital. So that's DC as well. We also got Boston, man. It says Boston implementing proof of V requirement for restaurants and other indoor venues, man. So we got it in Boston as well. You notice the theme. It's a lot of these liberal states, man. These liberal states are, don't get it twisted. The conservative states are as well in terms of their governors and their high-ranking officials, their mayors and whatnot. They're 100% with they're with it as well. But the narrative they're trying to cast over the people of the masses, they're really trying to spell cast the narrative they're pushing, or they're driving, is that the blue states, so-called democratic states, the so-called liberal states, are in lockstep with the with the mandates, but the conservative states are 100% against it. That's why you're seeing certain things in Oklahoma, Florida, you know, Texas, cities like that, or states like that, where their governors are coming out and saying that these mandates are unconstitutional. They're saying they're refusing to bring mandates into their cities, into their states and their cities within their states. And you see the narrative that they're against Biden, and they're calling Biden all kinds of shit, and they're saying how Biden's a terrible leader, and they're using the Supreme Court as well to combat Biden, to basically remove those mandates, especially with the 100 employees mandate. For every company that has 100 plus employees, that mandate they're going through the Supreme Court and using the Supreme Court to be able to declare that unconstitutional, so they don't have to implement it within their state and their cities. That's all a narrative right there, because that's bringing forth the blue red divide, which is going to bring forth the civil war, man. You know, that's another step of the domino effect. Within these certain cities, within these certain states and these cities, these blue states, you got the major cities of these blue states. bringing forth the mandates, but on the opposite end, you got the so-called red states or the conservative states that ain't with it. You know, that adds to the overall narrative as well. You know, and that works in unison and conjunction to bring forth division and beef between the unpoked and the poked. Especially when they bring forth new especially in 2022 as they bring forth more schemes and psyops with crisis actors and staged events and whatnot that trigger the emotions of people. That's gonna rile people up even more. Well, eventually people gonna start fighting in the streets, man, and it's gonna get to a point where it's not controllable anymore. You know, and that's gonna assist in the breakdown of the economy because businesses are going to be destroyed, cities are going to be destroyed, states are going to be destroyed, workers are going to be killed. There's going to be a lot of different things happening, and you can't sustain any kind of system economically with chaos and turmoil. So that's going to assist in the fall of the economy, bring forth, and once the economy falls, and the stock market, and also that's going to collapse the stock market as well. Investors are going to be pulling their money out, you know. And once everything collapses, they already got the solution with the CBDC. And that's how everyone's going to operate. So it's all about pushing narratives and to bring forth, you know, their uh their plans for the new world. Ultimately, pushing forward biblical prophecy. Most are just using them to push forward biblical prophecy. It says this Boston mayor Michelle Wu says she also said, I want to get this point. She also said all city employees must be V'd along that same timeline, going into that early January timeline. Um by what's the date for Boston? January 15th. So by that January 15th date, all these city employees, the people who work for the city of Boston, um, as well as certain mandates within, the restaurant, bars, clubs, and all that kind of stuff, man. The same thing as these other cities. You'll have to have that by January 15th, man. Just one step this is just one step in an aggressive approach the city has already been working hard to implement. Wu said it's absolutely necessary one. We're ready to take the step forward to protect our residents. Notice, to protect our residents, quote unquote. That's all. That's the narrative they want to push. And see, when you bring forth a narrative of protection and care, certain things like that seeps into the emotions of the people and they buy into it, man. They think, oh, they really want to protect us out here. They see cause that's the thing. They bring forth all the destructive things, all the deaths, the sicknesses. Of course, we all know the Most High brings it, but the Most High uses them to bring forth either that or the narratives that push that. It can actually be an actual physical thing, or it can just be a narrative that's pushing that physical thing. They bring that forth as well, but they also bring forth the quote unquote solution for it too. But see, the master people don't know that they bring forth the other part as well. Masters just think they just got the solution for it. Oh, it's just some natural occurrence that happened. But these people they care so much about us, they already got the solution for us. No, it don't work like that. They brought forth that problem as well. Problem, reaction, solution. The Hegelian dialectic, man. That's one of the main tenets of this new world order. Order out of chaos, man. They bring forth the chaos, which controls the reaction of the people, and they bring forth the order to combat that. You know, so you think it's all about protection and safety and whatnot, you know, but really it's they really controlled your response to this. They controlled your response through their media manipulation. They controlled your response through using the puppets they use to mind control the people and and tell them what they should believe. That's how they control your response to the chaos that they brought in. The so-called V, they said they came out of some damn lab in China. It says the proof of V requirement for indoor venues will go into effect January 15th. Everybody ages 12 and up, all patrons and employees will be required to show proof they have received at least one dose of the V. Beginning February 15th, everyone will show proof of two doses. So you can start out by showing one dose, but soon you got to be showing two doses. Man, by the summer, man, you're going to have to show 3, 4, 5 doses, man. That's how this works. Every changing up on you all the time. Why would you believe anything the devil say? Why would you think the devil don't have something else up their sleeve, man? You know, your third dose, your fourth dose, your fifth dose, your sixth dose. How long does narrative last? It says, then it goes into the children. So we got Boston as well, and then the granddaddy of them all, New York City, man, the strictest mandate going on in New York City. What is mandate and the the most I'll say like the most profound narratives come and deal with New York City, man. Now I'm not saying there ain't people getting sick. I ain't saying that this thing is 100% fake. I ain't saying that. But this definitely is where the most profound narratives spawn out of, and it's the perfect city for it, man. You got a whole bunch of different people. I mean, you got a huge population of people. Very very close space. New York City is. You know, it's not a wide space in terms of area, and there's a bunch of people clumped up into one space. So it's the perfect place. It's cold there majority of the year, so it's the perfect place to push this narrative, man. So why would they not do it in New York? I mean, you just got to think. This is simple things to think about, man. This ain't difficult. Well, of course, New York City will be the strictest in the nation. The most fucking people, close, cold area, closed in spaces. Of course, New York City is the perfect place to push the narrative, man, and the perfect place to claim that this thing is surging on a level that can't be stopped. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things about the New York City one. It says New York City new private sector V mandate takes effect Monday, requiring nearly 185,000 businesses to track V proof for employees in tandem. Everyone aged 12 and up must show proof of V for all indoor for indoor dining, fitness, and entertainment. So stretching out to these private sector businesses as well, man. Private sector business not immune from this. They attack you at every. That's the thing. There's no way you can escape it, man. They're gonna attack you at every single level. Only way out of this is through faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. That's the only way out of this, man. That's the only way out of this madness within the world. That's the only protection, only foolproof solution and protection from and through all this chaos that's going on in the world, man. Relying and leaning on yourself, man. Either actually having to die, you know, via the various certain measures and things they bring into effect, and also to just get clipped in terms of getting poked up, man, and ultimately getting seed up, which is gonna be the clipping of your soul. It says the changes were intended to as a combined preemptive strike against the OV, generating record C case surges locally and across the country. Cases are milder than those linked to Delta. Still, the sheer volume of infections is decimating staff resources across all industries and creating surging testing demand. 7 new city-run testing sites open Monday, and new state ones are planned. You see, so they bringing this narrative, in full swing in New York City, man. It's really all I wanted to get from this article right here, and just dealing with this a certain OV situation. Is expect this to happen in more cities, man. Expect it, more major cities, Seattle, Portland, fucking you know, Baltimore, Detroit, Atlanta, you know, especially down up there in Canada. They probably already got it up there in Ottawa, Toronto. I know. Well, I know in Ottawa and Toronto they do. You know, but up there in Canada as well, Montreal. That's the same thing as America, pretty much. Expect, especially as they run this narrative. They already done told us in 2022 it's gonna be a hard January. It's gonna be a cold winter. That's the coldest months of the year. January, February, cold winter. As the temperatures get colder and colder and colder, that's the perfect time to push this narrative even more. Perfect time period for that, man. So expect more major cities, especially in blue states on the East Coast and on the West Coast, Philly, you know, with to push the this jab mandate, man. I want to get into this because what does that spill over? What does that spill over into, man? That spills over to mandates in all sectors. Now let's go now in terms of the mandate for travel. It says Fauci says V mandate for domestic air travel seriously should be considered. Now I did a live stream on my main channel like a month ago going into the bill that was proposed from the House of Representatives member in I think she was out of San Francisco. The Congress member out there in San Francisco. She drafted the bill that will soon eventually be turned into a law eventually, but she drafted the bill, headline with jab mandates being required for domestic air travel. You know, so we're starting to see that being pushed more and more and more in society because of what? Because of the narrative, because the OV narrative, man. Like I said at the beginning of this live stream, narratives bring forth the stipulations. It's not about what's actually going on. It's about what they can convince you is actually going on. Because when you walk outside, when you walk around, you don't see people just dropping dead. You don't see people wearing masks everywhere. You don't see people just coughing and sneezing everywhere, man. But that's what they have convinced you to think is actually going on. So when they bring forth the domestic air travel, this is what they want to create. They want to create a system where you have certain people that are okay with it and certain people that are not okay with it. Because that creates the division that they need to have things still functioning, but at the same point, still have a portion of people who are the blood is boiling up day after day, and with the right event, it's going to trigger the emotional responses they want, which is going to make people pop. And then you're going to have people who are going to on the opposite end be trying to defend what's going on, and that's when you create a clash of styles, which that's when you bring in civil war right there. Fuck, let me get a sip of water. So it says Fauci says VM for domestic travel should seriously should be considered. It says Dr. H.D. Fauci, the top U.S. infectious disease expert, we should say the top U.S. Infectious devil expert, said Monday the nation should consider a V mandate for domestic air travel, signaling a potential embrace of an idea the Biden administration has previously eschewed as C-19 cases spike. I want to get down this. He said, so right here, when you make V a requirement, that's another incentive to get more people V'd. And that, like I said, that's with the mayor out of DC, Mayor Bowser out of DC. It's all about just creating an environment through restriction to get people V'd up. That's all it's about right there, man. That's all it's about. It ain't about um it ain't about protection and health and safety and making sure people are okay on these flights, making sure that you don't infect the pilots, you don't infect the flight attendants, and vice versa, and having people not get sick at the airports, and you know certain things that don't delay flights. It's not about that right there, or having a lot of flights be canceled because of lack of pilots, or lack of pilots, or lack of safety within the airport. It's not about that, man. It's not about that. It's all about just getting people V'd up. It says if you want to do that with domestic flights, I think that's something that seriously should be considered. Now they've already put into the minds of the people the thought of the requirement for flights being acceptable because they've done it with foreign travel, with international travel. You know, that's going to be another animal to do it with domestic travel. You're going to have a sizable amount of people in this country that ain't going to be okay with that. But that's what they want, though. You know, and their leaders of the opposite party, the conservatives and whatnot, are going to egg their people on because that's the thing. These people don't believe that their leaders are a part of it. That's why you see this outpour and this outcry about Trump statements, man. You know, you see people like Alex Jones and Brandon Tatum and people like that who who just bought into the conservative narrative. You know, I believe Alex Jones is a controlled opposition, but that's a whole other story. But people like Brandon Tatum, the Hodge twins, Candace Owens, these so-called black conservatives, people on certain people, Ben Shapiro, what's that dude's, what's that woman's name? The white chick, Tommy Lauren, who are speaking out about Trump, supporting the V. People are in awe about that because they bought into the narrative, man. They bought into and people will continue to be bought into these narratives. The conservative population will be continue to be bought into these narratives. That my leaders against this, they're gonna fight for me, and my governor and my state, we ain't having all that. They gonna fight for this, that, and the third. They're just being conditioned more and more and more to participate in the Civil War, man. That's all that's going on with them. They're just being conditioned, you know. So both parties are actively being conditioned by their their leaders per se. But this is going to come to domestic travel. Like I said, they already drafted the bill a few months ago with that using that lady in the congresswoman in California as as the conduit to do so. So it's definitely going to come into effect. I don't know when, but it will. Especially as they continue to push this narrative in the colder months of the year. You know, more people, especially, and it's also this too. Think about it now. We got people traveling, holidays, so-called holiday season, man. People traveling. Now, after this period of time, they don't have all the numbers right now. They do the numbers after each quarter, I believe. So when this quarter is over, they're gonna have a full, or well, I'll say this: when this period of time is the end of the year and what they're gonna tally everything up at the end of the year. When that's all tallied up, you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, you got New Year's, you got New Year's Eve, all that, man. When they tally up all those numbers, it's gonna be easy for them to say, oh, cases have tripled and quadrupled after the holiday season. People have been traveling with and infecting, people that travel, people getting sick on the planes. That's just more leeway, more justification for them to mandate it on these domestic flights, man. Using the cases are spiking as people are, linking up or people as people linked up for the holiday season as a narrative. Like I said earlier, the narrative, whatever narrative they push at the particular period of time, controls the stipulation or ushers in the stipulation. So those are two things that can come to bring forth these mandates on these domestic flights, man. Also, too, you got to think about it. With all these flights being canceled, that creates huge chaos in the economic sector of the flight industry, and also just the everyday communications angle as well. You got huge flights delayed. You got pilots not showing up to work. You got pilots getting sick. That's why you saw a couple months back, and I touched on that on one of my live streams about a month ago, going to these certain airline companies mandating the poke for their pilots, man. So if they're mandating it for the pilots and they already put that into the air, they're gonna mandate it for the pilots. What's to say? All right, we already mandated for the pilots, and we're gonna mandate it for the passengers to create a safe environment when everyone's flying, man. That way you can get to where you need to get to safely, and don't have to worry about this, that, the third. If you don't want to do it, well, that's gonna be more incentive for you to get poked up. We saw the quote in the from the DC mayor, and she that's not just her speaking. She speaks for the powers that be, man. So she speaks for Fauci. She speaks for Biden. She speaks for the ruling elite families, man. Because she's just a conduit and a pawn. What she say? If you're a resident that's not yet V'd and you want to continue enjoying these activities, now is the time to get V'd. So if you are someone who actively wants to fly, you know, you're a resident of the country, you're a citizen of the country, you want to continue flying, you got to get V'd up. And they'll be able to do that because of the narratives they're gonna push in the upcoming months. It says the U.S. currently mandates that foreign nationals traveling to U.S. be fully poked against the CV. Those citizens and permanent residents only need to show proof of negative test taken within the day of boarding. Like I said earlier, they already got it in the air, and kind of brought it into people's mindsets that it's okay for foreign traveling. You going from country to country, especially with travel from Africa and Europe, as they instituted this damn OV and used Africa as the headquarters to bring forth that narrative, but also with all throughout Europe, especially as it gets colder and colder and colder out there. All throughout Europe, they're spiking up cases and saying that this is the most, especially in Germany, France, Lithuania, Italy, all these different places in Spain, all these the United Kingdom, all these different places in Europe. They're spiking up numbers each day. Each day, if you search up C-19 cases or OV cases in Europe, each day it shows an increasing amount of spikes in cases. Each day the percentage doubles and triples. You know, so that's what's created within the mindsets of the people, a justification to mandate the poke for foreign travel. You know, but when they do that in the U.S. as well, you don't think that's going to create justification for people to think that domestic travel mandate is okay? And like I said in one of my earlier live streams or a video I did, um, the elites work with the people per se. And let me explain what I mean by that. Of course, we know the ruling elite. They control everything from a fleshly perspective within this world where the Most High uses them to push for certain narratives and to move the sticks, move the needles here and there as they see fit, controlling everything. Controlling you know the waves that society moves into, the destinations for the new control that, but they work with the people in the sense that they got to have a certain amount of people that's on board with them for them to keep their narratives going. Because if everybody was against it, then more chaos prior to them wanting it to. It's like, because I personally believe they want the downfall of the economic system to come in conjunction with the more harsher restrictions and mandates, that being restricting people's food and restricting their travel via mandating the poke at grocery stores and being able to and people's forms of travel and whatnot. Because think about it, if you create a system where you have the poke mandated for travel, so you attack people's free will to move and go, to come and go as they please, which we know was going to happen pursuant to Second Ezra the 15th chapter. Let's go to get that. So it's going to happen. Second Ezra 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So we know we know it's going to happen. It's eventually going to get mandated. So think about it. You create a society where it's mandated and you're attacking people's free will to travel. You're through mandating the poke for domestic travel and checkpoints on the road. So you're gonna have that. You're also gonna have, if you attack it, you attack people's ways to eat. by mandating it at grocery stores. You attack their money by mandating it at their jobs. And by shutting down the country again. When you do that, when you shut things down again, that attacks businesses, man, which attacks the overall economic scope, which plummets everything. You know, we saw what happened in 2020. We still seeing the effects of that in today's world, man. Via in what does that cause? Mass inflation, these bubbles to pop, housing bubbles, economic bubbles, stock bubble, all these things to pop, and then prices go plummeting, man. Of course, it's not just that simple. It's a lot of different variables in between that, but I'm just giving a rough summary of such chain of events. So you got attacking people's money as well. So you attack people's food, you attack their money, and you attack their ability to move to come and go as they please. Oh man, now you didn't create a monster out of some people, man. They ready to fight. They ready to fight for what they believe their rights to be, the so-called rights, which really have no that's all an illusion. But that's a whole other story. You attack those three things, hey man, you can create a monster out of some people, and that's when you know you're gonna start seeing uproars and people not regarding their kings and princes as the second Esdras 15 and 16 and well 15 second Esdras 15, 15 and 16. You're gonna see people fighting with swords against each other. People not regarding their kings and princes, meaning what? They don't care what these people say. They don't care about the narratives they're pushing. They don't care about the mandates and the restrictions. They going out. They'll die about it, man. Because especially with these conservatives, they believe that the country's being taken over by socialism and communism, which they quite as kept. Their conservative leaders believe in the same system as well. It's just masked in so-called freedom, or under the guise of giving you the illusion that they believe in freedom of speech, freedom of travel, freedom of choice, certain things like that, and conservative values, which that really means nothing because that's all an illusion as well because the conservative values are just based off of the ways of the quote unquote former world, and that world is no longer in effect right here. We don't this society this world this country doesn't operate in conservatism, man. It operates in liberalism, emotionalism, and the tenets of the beast being shown in the open right now and being subconsciously pushed in the minds of the people. This television programming, media programming, certain societal events that shape the minds of the people. This is not a conservative. This is not a quote unquote conservative country. Most people in the world don't operate on that level. And when they outweigh the quote unquote conservative population, that's the end. Especially when they align, when that's aligned with how the new world is moving. These quote unquote conservative values don't mean shit anymore. You know, so that really means nothing. That's an illusion as well. But anyway, getting back to the point, kind of went off on a little tangent. Getting back to the point, um, like I said, you've created the narrative that's okay to like in the minds of the people, you know, foreign, travel's okay. So when all these things come to implement the domestic travel, such as the cases and the numbers spiking up, certain things like that, the lack of people, the lack of people getting poked up, with a sizable portion of the country still yet to get even one dose of the poke, you know, that's gonna create all kinds of different feelings, you know, in the minds of the people, you know, to be at odds against those that are unpoked. And also for the unpoked people, that's gonna cause them to think about compromising because they're seeing everything getting restricted from them. Like, you know what? I can't travel. I can't go to the store. I can't go to the game. I can't go to the restaurant. I can't do nothing, man. Man, fuck it, man. It's not worth it. Let me just get it. People, my family done got it. I know people that got it. They fine. I'll get it too. Because they're not really rooted in anything of sound, strong spiritual foundation. See, when you're rooted in this truth, when you're rooted in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, you're rooted in this Israelite understanding and knowledge and understanding of these prophecies, then you understand what it's all leading up to. You understand the overarching narrative is just to get you conditioned and get you to accept the beast system, man, with a lot of different variables in between. So you understand that you standing firm because you know what it is, and you know that ultimately you have the number one thing you need, which is that faith. You know you're gonna get protection. You know you're gonna get food, water, shelter, clothes, certain things like that. You know that the Most High gonna provide. Now the most may have it where you have to die in a FEMA camp, but that just may be But we understand through the prophecies that's a possible solution. So if that happens, we're not thrown off by it. You know what I'm saying? It's like I already know this is a possibility. The Most High laid it out as a possibility to happen. I just happen to be one of the people that the Most High wanted it for. Hey man, you take it on the chin, you pray to the Lord, and there's comfort in that. You know that because as it says in 1 Thessalonians 4:16 on down, man, you know that. I'm not saying that means you're the elect. I mean, because I don't know, but you know that you have a very good chance of being of the elect, man. If you die, by being beheaded, man. Because that's what's gonna happen to the saints, especially when you die standing strong for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's great. You have a great chance of being the elect, one of the elect, man. 144,000. So yeah, I want to touch on that as well, and I'll go ahead and I'll touch. I kind of touched on that already, but I want to touch on this too before we go ahead and round it out because it all lines up. This is what it's all about right here, baby. It's what it's all about. That charagma, man. All about that charagma. It says MC, a charagma implanted under skin could be your CV passport, man. It's what it's all about right here. It's just coming out of Orlando, Florida, too. So people think, oh, that's going on in Sweden. That's not going to come to America. That's going on in Sweden and Finland and Norway, the Nordic region. That's going on. It's going on in Europe. It ain't gonna come to America. Think again. This is a story out of Orlando, Florida, man. They had a segment on a news show. I believe that was in Michigan. It was either one of the northern Midwestern states, Michigan, Minnesota. It was one of those countries. I mean, not country, one of those states. And of course, we all know about the the business. It was in Wisconsin that got the chip implemented. The charagma implemented within their employees. I forgot the name of the business. In Wisconsin, that we all know that how that happened. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I don't know why this comes as a surprise to see this going on in the United States, but people not paying attention. But anyway, so a Swedish tech startup company says its device could be customized to display people's CV records, according to a video the South China Post posted Friday on Twitter. Epicenter, based in Stockholm, which is in Sweden, says anyone who opts for MC implementation can later change their mind to have the device removed. And what does the Most High say about that, man? Because even if you can get it removed, that don't mean shit to the Most High. Which I'm not even. Which I mean, they just saying that this devil's a liar, man. They say things, even if you type in and research Fauci's comments on domestic travel or the mandate for the domestic travel, you'll see a bunch of conflicting reports. You know what I'm saying? This devil's nothing but a liar. But let's see what the Most High says about that, man. This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, that mark of the beast, MOTB, if you receive that, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels in the presence of the Lamb. So you're gonna torment in fire and brimstone, man. If you get that MC, man. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be your judgment. To be tormented in the fire and brimstone on the earth, man. So they may say they're telling you that you can get it removed, but the scripture says something otherwise. I changed my mind. I don't like this, man. I changed my mind. I thought it would be cool, but I thought it'd be convenient, but I mean, it really makes no difference for me, and it's kind of a nuisance to have it in my hand. I don't really, I'm believing what some of these conspiracy theorists say. Some, I don't want them tracking me. That shit don't matter to the Most High, man. You might be able to get that shit removed. You might be, you know, that shit might be expensive to get it removed. You know, it might be painful and expensive to get it removed. That's gonna be the catch. They're telling you can get it removed, but they're not telling you it comes with a damn $10,000 price tag, man. Which I don't know for sure if it does or not, but I can imagine it being set up that way. Where right now it's $100 to get it. It's $100 to get it, but it's gonna be $10,000 to get it removed. That's how they're gonna play it, man. But it don't matter if you get it removed. The Most High says if you get it at all, you're done. No repentance, no coming back. Now most of the people out there are heathens anyway, but for you Jakes, this is the story coming out of Orlando, Florida, man. And this is going to start to be pushed more and more and more, especially in 2022 when they bring in the different things that are gonna accelerate the digital world and the digital economy, the digital world system, world structure, everything, man. Like I said earlier on in the live stream, you know, within the CB within implementing the CBDC, it's not just about the global current the national currency. And it's about the removal of cash and bringing forth the digital currency. It's about what comes along with the digital currency. You know what I'm saying? What comes along with that, man? It's not about just the NFTs and the metaverse and all that shit, man. That's important as well. It's not just about crypto. That's important as well, but it's not just about that. It's about being able to certify that. It's about being able to track that. Which that's gonna come in the form of the Karagma. Eventually. I don't know how soon, but eventually. Could be 2022. We gonna see. They already got it out there in Sweden, but you notice how they got multiple different narratives surrounding that. You know, it's gonna be that sector of the economic sector of it, the also the quote unquote safety sector of it, also the quote unquote societal sector of it, by being able to prove your or quote unquote convenience of being able to prove it. Like it says right here, it says right now it's very convenient to have a C passport accessible, always accessible in your implant. They're trying to push the narrative that is more convenient. See, that's the thing because it's a foreign concept. Get some get some rice grain in my damn hand. Why would I do that when I can just have the passport? I just had a card. But just like everything else in this society, just like everything else with this whole pandemic narrative, man, how they tell you to think is how most people think. They told you that that the jab was the most effective defense against the disease. A bunch of people went and got jabbed. They told you that you need to get a booster every 6 months, but people already went and got their booster. You know, they tell you that certain people are dying at rapid rates. People are wearing masks everywhere to protect themselves. So called. You know, what they tell you was going on. That's how most people think. Most people don't have a mind of their own. So if they tell you this is more convenient, people gonna think in their mind, you know what, maybe this is more convenient, or at least you spark the thought in people's mindsets. Because you just tell someone, oh, they got this implant, it's gonna have your CV passport on it. That way you don't have to carry it, around with you. People are like, nah, I ain't with all that, man. I got my card, I'm cool, man. I don't need all that, man. But when they tell you it's more convenient and they start showing certain things with it, and especially as it's used to access other things outside of things dealing with CV, your car, your car keys, your wallet, your financial and your medical information. When it's shown to have that effect as well, then you're putting that thought of convenience in people's mindsets. Now they're saying, you know what? This actually might be a good thing for me. I can have this with it. It's kind of a jack of all trades type thing. Now people start to think about it, and when people are thinking about it, that's when people especially when they start seeing people do it, They get more comfortable with the idea. Now they sold on it as well. That's how they're gonna get people. That's when you see this the starting of that right now. It says the chip or damn, the C uses near field communication NFC to send the data to devices, including smartphones that can read them. So this is what it's all about: getting people to tap into the Karagman, man. You know, it says it's the same type of technology used in most contactless credit cards and mobile payments, according to Fox Business, and it is the RFID technology. We already use it in our phones, in our cars, in our in our credit cards, paying like I said, phones, mobile pay, Apple Pay, certain things like that. It's the same. It's the same technology. That's how I've already conditioned people to go along. Most people don't even use cash no more. Most people don't even fuck with cash no more. They don't even carry cash at all. They've already started conditioning, you know. But in order to bring forth the granddaddy of them all, the big one, that being the Karagma, they gotta tear down this current structure. This current structure gotta go first. That's what I personally believe. I could be wrong. They could just bring it forth and people just get it, man. People are stupid, so you never know. People are gullible. People are under mind control, so you never know. But I personally think that they got to get rid of out with the old to bring in the new first. They got to tear down this economic system first to get people to go along with this. Because when that's the only option you got, or that's when everything else seems bleak, and this is an option they're bringing to the table to as some kind of light for all the darkness going on with the economic world, that's gonna get people to kind of go along with it right there. Because people are going to be looking for an economic out, especially this comes with incentives, and this comes with the ability to still be able to operate kind of kind of kind of in the within the world, and the other options and the other solutions don't require still being attached to this world. That'll get people to go along with it right there. You know, like it says, they can act as a key fob, a form of payment, can be programmed to store data, your resume, everything. When they bring forward all the quote unquote perks that come along with it, and it stretches, and they bring forth narratives that stretch far past just CV and the OV variant and the passport and all that, man. That's when, because it's kind of like a new invention. People like, you know what? Especially as they use celebrities and they use um, um, top tier YouTubers like tech gurus and shit like that. To kind of sell it to the people, to kind of make it seem cooler and whatnot. That's when people are gonna go get it right there when it seems convenient. And when the celebrities start boasting and bragging how convenient it is, how they don't have to do this anymore because they already got it right here. A lot of these celebrities already got it. They're quiet as kept. They already got it, but they're just not promoting it yet. When they start promoting it, that's when they're ready to go ahead and implement this thing in America. When they implement it in ways, or they use the programming in ways that stretch past CV. CV is just one of the ways they're gonna bring forth the program. It's about a variety of different things, man, to bring forth this and to push this C Rogman, man. You know, and of course, you already know they can install it in cats and dogs and things like that. But everybody knows that. But it's basically going to the same thing going into it for Fox Business, company that Swedish company, M chip that can download C19 passport status, man. That's what's all leading up to. That's what all these mandates leading up to. That's what the mandates of domestic travel is leading up to. That's what the lockdown is leading up to. That's what this article is about. You know, it says It says triggers lockdown by default across U.S. businesses. Gonna be businesses, the world, just locking you down into your homes, having martial law out there in the streets. They already got martial law out there in Hawaii. When that becomes more of a thing on the mainland per se, as the people in Hawaii would say, when that becomes a thing on the mainland, in these various different cities and whatnot, causing lockdowns and people not being able to go to work and businesses shutting down because people aren't outside and you know, people don't have money and certain things like that. When all that coming together is for the Karagman, man. That's what it's all coming together. It's all for that. You know what the fuck is this shit? What the fuck that is? Hey, but with that, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim Kakodash, Lord, what is edifying, to the hopeful elect nation Israel, and nation Israel only, and Shalom.